Coming from these Philly streets, walking to my own beat, telling noisemakers I won't compete, cause I know I'm gonna be a beast. I go hard for what I want, I go hard for what I need.
Welcome back, y'all, and another episode of UBELLCTV, where we pull back the curtains on entrepreneurship, business strategy, and real stories behind the brands. I am your host, Denise Murray, and you know my mission: to help you get your business right, structured, funded, and grow it. Today's episode is going to be powerful because we are diving deep into wrestling's leadership and systems that make businesses thrive. So I want y'all to grab your notebook because this one is going to drop some gems. You can put this into action right away. You know, my guest today is no other than Tiffany Hunt, the president and CEO of viaSolutions, LLC. She's a woman-owned business consultant firm that delivers solutions for organizations and working professionals. With over 17 years of experience in implementing CMMI and ISO solutions for small and mid-sized federal contracting businesses, Tiffany brings a wealth of expertise. She is certified CMMI Lead Appraiser, certified ISO Lead Auditor, and certified ITIL Instructor. Credentials that make her an absolute powerhouse in the industry. Not only does she lead large-scale compliance projects, but she also helps small businesses put enterprise-level processes in place to increase credibility, profitability, and sustainability. On top of all that, she is an author with an ebook for entrepreneurs that I can't wait for her to share with us today. Y'all, help me welcome Miss Business Acumen herself, Tiffany Hunt. Hey, hey.
I was impressed. I'm like, oh, who is she? It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you come on with me. I just was like you, when I was reading your information, I said, oh, sis is on top of it. She is doing her thing and helping people. And that's what I love. And I'm just so happy to have you join me today so you can share all your expertise with the guests.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so very much for having me on your platform.
Thank you. Now, Tiffany, let's get started off with the beginning. What sparked the idea of viaSolutions and what made you take a leap into entrepreneurship?
So I've always been of a business mindset. I literally started with having my own business in middle school. So I had an aunt, or actually she's still an educator. I had an aunt work for an independent school. I would leave junior high school, catch the bus to her school, and I would braid hair. Okay. And so I had this little thing going on, and I was charging $10 a head. So by the time I got to the school, there was literally kids just sitting there waiting. They had their beads, they had, their combs, their brushes, and I would braid hair until the school closed because their school was an independent school and stayed later. So I would braid until the school closed. So I've always had a entrepreneurial spirit, and I've always seen the world differently as far as making money. And so once I did all the things, right? All the things that you're supposed to do. I went to college, got a degree, I had my master's. And so I've always been having one foot in with just doing the traditional 9-to-5 thing, which I've done, another foot in actually doing something that matters, right? Because those two things sometimes aren't the same. So once I started in corporate America, I just became extremely unhappy, very frustrated, extremely unhappy. Anybody who's worked a traditional 9-to-5 knows, especially if you're not in a leadership role, you're responsible for doing this, and then the other duties is assigned. You don't ask questions. No one wants to hear your ideas. They don't care if you do it, redo it, it's wrong, do it again. Inefficiencies up the wazoo. And so I just got tired. I was just tired. I was unhappy. I was unhealthy. I was tired. I would leave and go on my lunch break in the car or find a corner and cry, literally. And then be like, I can't do this anymore. So that kind of um, sparked the idea to start my business. I just became exhausted and turned that exhaustion into power and confidence, right? Telling myself, yeah, you can do this. You're already doing it. You're just doing it under somebody else's thumb, right? So I think that's the thing we forget. A lot of us are SMEs in our environments, but we don't see ourselves as SMEs. We see ourselves as the worker, right? So changing my mindset to say, no, you can do this. And so just making that shift, that's how I got into starting my own business.
That's awesome. Now tell us, just to go back, how were you as young Tiffany Hunt?
Young Tiffany Hunt. So I challenged everything. I was a very serious child. So my mom tells people all the time, oh, she was so serious as a child. Like she said, as I wouldn't play at recess, I was very much about my business. I'm still very much about the business, whatever it is. If it's a political thing, I'm about that, right? Whatever it is, I'm very, very serious about it. Parenting, serious about it. Marriage, serious about it. Building up community, serious about it. Finances, serious about it. So I'm serious about the business, right? But I always just saw things a little bit differently. I didn't want to wait. I hate wasting time, right? I hate redoing things. So in that regard, I was serious, very serious, but I played sports. I was academically very, very strong. And I just always challenged social norms, right? I would read something or see something and say, I don't know about that. That don't really make sense to me. But I think in general, just a good person, good person as a kid, just serious.
I like that though, because sometimes you have some people, especially in today with the world of social media, people will see something and run with it. And sometimes some stories are not even real. Like I get people sometimes that will see something like, oh, like I would say last month there was a thing I guess that was floating around, and it was crazy that they were giving another check out to everybody. And I was like, man, y'all know. And then people are calling me like, are we getting this? I'm like,
in this economy?
And the crazy thing about it is a guy who he just was able to get so much following, and he wound up going like viral off of putting this out there, and it wasn't even real. And he talked about it. He was like, you see how easy you can persuade people in today. And so a lot of times people will read things on social media and really just run with it. And it's like nobody does any research. So the fact that you say how you be serious and you gonna dive deep, that's serious. And I am that person. Like I know, and like I was telling you also with the network marketing, they have those colors where they be like, you have to be those colors, the red, green, blue, and red.
Yes.
And so I was always the green. They always said I was the green because I was that research. Like I got to look this up, look that. And in some ways they say I can be the bad person because greens can be, so many questions and everything. We question everything, but that was just me. I'm like, I had a little bit of everything, all them colors, but I was really that green. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love that so much. Now you said you talked about family. Do you have children? Are you married?
I do both. I'm married and I have 2 children.
Okay.
Yes. So they were also a part of my decision to make the jump. Anybody who, and I'm not going to just pick on mothers because there are fathers, there are grandparents, there are aunties and everybody else that works full-time plus and is responsible for taking care of small children already knows it is probably the most difficult thing that you can ever do outside of childbirth and outside of losing a child. But, the rat race of it all, right? Everybody gets up, everybody's rushing, everybody has to be on time, right? Or before time, depending on your environment. Everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to look good, clothes and all of that. And then you got to get them, everybody where they need to be. And then you have to go to work, expected to work and show up and excel. And then somebody got to pick them up. So you arranging the transportation, or you leaving to go pick them up. Then you coming back, or you taking your work home. So that also was a part of my decision, because I felt unhappy, unhealthy, just frustrated, right? To what? To earn money, right? Which is nominal considering what I'm providing to an organization that may or may not even care. And so, again, questioning everything. Why am I doing this?
Right.
Who is this benefiting? Yeah, I got to pay my bills, but I can pay my bills by providing the same service and then just moving you out of the way. And then that allows me with the flexibility to spend time with my family, not just on the weekend, not, Tuesday falling asleep watching a movie, whenever I want to. So that's the type of life I wanted to live. I didn't want to live this. I didn't want to be a part of that rat race. Now, if it's a rat race that I create for my business based on my model, sure. I'm, again, all in, very serious about it. But I'm not going to do some enter myself into some predefined rat race so that what? Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. So they were also a big part of why I decided to work for myself.
I'm feeling that all the way, because I have a daughter as well, and honestly, that was part of my story. But mine is a little different. It was because I moved from one state to another, and when I came from Pennsylvania to Georgia, I literally got a call. I got a job, got a call where somebody was like, well, they were telling me at this time I didn't even know what defects meant. And so I was like, what is defects? They was telling me that they were about to pick up my child because the person who I had that was supposed to pick her up didn't pick her up. Yeah. And so she's sitting there, and mind you, I'm having to go 2 hours to get home and to be able to pick. And so it was just like, I'm freaking out. And at the time I literally just got the job, and they told me I couldn't leave. So I had, you know how you do those one-on-ones where you training with somebody and they're doing the work first, and then next week you do so I'm in that stage now.
Yeah, earlier.
So I'm like sitting there with this girl, and she's like, well, I can get my mom to go get your daughter. Now, mind you, I don't even know who this person is. I'm just sitting with her, just meeting her. But the fact that she was, trying to help, I appreciated it so much. But I still was on pins and needles because, again, I did not know these people.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's when it had my drive. Like, I have to have something else. Now, I didn't start I started it on the side.
Yeah.
And I was still having my job. I literally didn't stop working my job until 2 years ago.
Same.
But 3 years ago, yeah. But it's just been like all these years. It was like I was doing on the side to build,
Yep.
But I was like, I was going to get myself out of that trap. But I just was like, I couldn't leave my job until I was either making the same amount or more. And that's when I said I would step away.
Correct. And same. I was working, and they used to call it moonlighting. I don't know what they call it, but definitely that. So I would do my job, which at this point I had got to a point where I could do what I was hired to do in my sleep. So it wasn't stressful. It was just the point of having to physically be there and do all the things. And then I would leave and I would work my business until I fell asleep. I would just work. And most of it, now that I'm thinking about it, was more like processing time work, because you go through these patterns of where you're just thinking. You're not even really posting, or you're not doing anything. You're or at least for me, just thinking about all the possibilities, how to make it work, that planning and strategic thought process and information dump. So I did that. And then once I really started to earn some money, I was like, okay. But the same, there was 1 year I made a whole bunch of money. Because you know the IRS we listen, so I ain't gonna say too much. I let go a bunch of money, and then that's when I realized, okay, I can let go. And I didn't even, if I'm being honest, I didn't even let go. There was a situation, and where I was working, they had to put people on the bench. They call it on the bench, right? So they had to kind of like furlough people. So to put people on the bench, and I was one of the people on the bench. And my prayer was literally like, God, whatever you want to do, whichever way it go, that's what's gonna go. And they let me go. I thanked everybody thank y'all so much. Thank you so much. If there's anything you need after this, hit me up. I was gone. I was gone because I had already. Mentally I was already gone. So yeah, but this is similar. I didn't take this whole giant leap where like, you know, we threatened to be evicted and we don't have food.
Right.
It wasn't that, but it was building while I was also working, so that I could just detach without taking a lower risk approach to that. So detach without hard financial implications.
Exactly. And that's exactly what what's her name? What's her name?
You say Tabitha Brown? Yes.
And that's exactly what she was trying to say. But some people was taking it the wrong way, where they was thinking she was telling people to go work and not focus on your dream. But she wasn't saying that. She like, don't keep trying to borrow from everybody and you can't pay them back. You know, like go ahead and stick where you at until you get there. Like you don't want to put yourself in a jam where you can't pay for nothing. So that's what she was basically trying to do.
And these dreams need to be financed, right? If people think about it tactically, the dream is free, right? I dream all day. I have a million ideas throughout the course, and then it goes through a filter of, is this real? Is this fake? Is this right? Like, girl, you don't need to know nothing about that. How you gonna do that? Like, so I just dream all day. But in order to move from dream to reality, there's a level of financial, most of the time, there's a little bit of financial attachment there, right? So you're going to need funding for something, even if it's not for the business, it's for your own survival. So in what world do we say, oh, I'm just going to leap out on faith without any type of, to me, that's not faith, right? That's ignorance, right? I'm not going to step out into, that doesn't make sense. So a part of that is also understanding, you know, that your dream does need financing. Right? So yeah, I support that.
Makes facts. Now, looking back where you were on some of your early mistakes that you may have made in your life, like starting off, what do you think turned into very valuable lessons?
Gosh, so quite a few mistakes, which I'm comfortable with. It's interesting how you look back and the things that you were like sweating over, crying over, stressed over. It's just like, girl, yeah, I did. One thing was vital mistake was not trusting myself, right? So there's a level of not necessarily self-doubt, but I think we don't tap into, or maybe we aren't accustomed to hearing our intuition and following that, right? So if you do have, and I believe this, if you do have a destiny, right? If you are assigned something that is beyond this world, right? God sent destiny, then with that comes the voice of what you're supposed to do, right? And oftentimes we don't listen to that. Again, question everything. We want to go out and we want to spend $700 on this, $1,000 on the course, you know, go to this conference, fly out to this place, set up, you know, sign up for this person's subscription, when they're going to tell you what you already know is to be true, right? So the first and probably biggest mistake was not early enough understanding that the voice that I'm hearing is that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't need outside confirmation, right? So you're like, God, just send me a sign. What else do you need to hear? What else do you need?
Right.
Right? So understanding that, you know, I need to really tap into in here, right? And then just connect and say, okay, what is it that I should be doing? Because most of the time we have the answer as far as the vision, right? So I think that's one thing. And then the second thing is the idea that we have to be attached to someone that is more experienced, more notable, or has more followers, and we don't, right? Sometimes, like you were talking about network marketing, digital marketing, in the marketing space, it's about the sale, right? It's about the presentation. So oftentimes people present themselves, their products, themselves, their integrity as one thing. And that's not always the case, right? It looks good for social media, but in the background, you don't really want to work. Once you get to, you don't want to be, you don't really, these not your people, right? So attaching to somebody, say, oh, this person's been doing this for 30 years. So yeah, I want to lock in with them. Only to realize they're going to undercut you. They're going to sell you short, possibly, not all. They're going to undercut you, sell you short, not give you your credit, steal your ideas, go off and run with it. So it's all of that. So that was another critical mistake I made. And then the last thing is probably early on, not being more financially responsible, right? Because we, as business owners, you get these ebbs and flows. So you have little money coming in, and you got no money coming in, and then sometimes you got a whole bunch of money coming in. It's like, oh, baby, even if we're not spending it, we still not doing anything with it. We're not investing it. We're not. It's not in the high yield savings. You're not doing nothing. So it's just there. And so understanding what to do with my business capital and how to utilize that to make more money or to invest in other dreams. I think those probably like are the biggest three. There are others, but I think that's probably like the biggest three.
Yes, because I know a lot of people, and I know y'all listen, y'all be like, oh, don't ever get discouraged on those mistakes because they teach and they help you. Because I know even with me, I get into teaching about business structure. And the reason why I do that now is because I did it wrong. And so I literally had to start from scratch because of all the stuff that I did wrong. So it was like I didn't do the homework at the time with making sure nobody else had my name and different things like that, and setting up the websites properly and doing different things. So it was like there was so many mistakes that I was making, but those mistakes help, teach me longer. So I always say those mistakes are always a good thing because, there's a lessons for you.
Yes.
So
and they're inevitable, right? Like you can be as smart or as talented and crafty as you want to be, but the mistakes are going to happen. That's with anything. Yeah, you can't get hung up on those.
Right. And I see that's why I'm telling people, don't get discouraged and start feeling like you need to quit because you made a mistake.
Yes.
Just keep going.
Yes.
How did the pandemic reshape your leadership and your business strategy? Did you have any issues during that time?
I did not have any issues. Okay. So during the pandemic, not as far as my business is concerned, during the pandemic, and I always tell other companies that I'm working with, like, we're pandemic tested, like tested in the because we got through it. And I recognize, and I'm grateful for being able to say that, because there's so many businesses that just are not able to say that. And even outside the pandemic, not able to say that in general, because the amount of small businesses that fail between the first 5 years is exponentially, right? Like about half of them just don't even make it. But the good thing about our business model was that we were remote and we had figured out a way to offer services in a remote environment anyhow. So there were times where I would travel onto client sites and things like that throughout the country. But for the most part, we were already in a virtual environment. Most of the clients that I support are in the IT industry. So it wasn't a new concept to be remote, right? It was the way that we did business, unless a client asked for something different. So in that regard, we were okay as far as service delivery. Now, there were some clients that wanted to put their work on hold only because the pandemic offered a level of insecurity and instability for them. But once the world pivoted and if people figured out, like, hey, we can actually still do business and make money and try our best to have human experience and connection, then we just kept on rolling. So yeah, we didn't. Fortunately, we didn't have to do too much pivoting when it came to the pandemic.
That's awesome. Now I know you're an expert in areas of a lot of small business finding intimidating. Can you break down what CMMI and ISO actually mean and why they matter for business owners listening right now?
Yeah, so though CMMI and ISO are CMMI is a model, ISO is a standard. They are both decades old and they are highly utilized by federal contractors. It's a way for federal contractors to prove to the federal government that they have implemented a level of business practice and a level of business maturity, right? So if you can imagine being a federal agency when they are looking for assistance, I mean everything from trash collection, which they call something different, trash collection, working on site, working in agriculture, working in a finance department. When they solicit out to the public, they get hundreds and sometimes thousands of responses. So many small businesses want to do business with them. And so CMMI and ISO become a differentiator for those companies. And they'll say, well, if you have either of these, we'll give you additional points because having gone through those processes mean that you're a more mature organization than someone who hasn't.
Okay.
So they cover a lot of different practices. They cover things like financial management, service delivery, risk management. They cover, if you're in the development space, things like engineering, technical solution, testing, validation. If you're in the services space, it covers things like capacity and continuity planning. So if something devastating happens within your organization, how are you able to bounce back? So literally, it's a model for of best practices on the CMMI side, where organizations can utilize to demonstrate that they have a certain level of capability or maturity. And on the ISO side, it's a standard, kind of similar in content. Again, demonstrating that they have done the work that's needed to execute different management systems.
Interesting. Now, for smaller companies who think enterprise level, are they like out the reach? Like, what's one way they can start implementing systems today?
Yeah, so they aren't out the reach. When I work with small businesses that have nothing to do with CMMI and ISO, I'm focused on a lot of their core business practices, right?
Mhm.
So understanding what's happening within the confines of their business, but then also working with them strategically. So, what I've found with working with these smaller businesses is that most of the time people start their business because they love their craft.
Mm.
That's all. They want to bake the food, they want to fry the chicken, they want to design a dress. They have no interest in running their business. They want to be successful, they want to make money, but they don't want to concern themselves with the business part of
Mm.
it. And so in working with them, I help them understand other parts of the business outside of just delivering a service or product,
Mm.
right? Thinking about things like, well, who is your customer? And
Mm.
most of the time, it's like, I don't know anybody that buys. Who are you selling to?
Right.
Anybody that buys? Anybody that buys? A 12-year-old, a 72-year-old, what race are they? You know, what nationality are they? Are they in the United States? Are they international? What is their median income? Like, who are you selling to? All of those types of things help you to become more profitable. And so, again, going back to being very serious about my business and about the business of us, I recognize that that is a challenge for many of us. We want to just do the thing.
Right.
We don't want to run the business. So outside of CMMI and ITIL, I help organizations run their business.
That's awesome. Because I know what you just said, it was so deep, because I remember in the beginning, I was that same person. And that's when I was taught, like, you need an avatar. You need to know what it is. Like, you need to know what, when, why, and how about what's going.
Yes.
So that was so good. Now, what's the real ROI of investing in compliance and quality frameworks for entrepreneurs?
So if you're in the federal contracting space, unfortunately, in my professional opinion, it's a pay to play, right? In order to get CMMI, ISO, some of these other certifications, you have to not only do the work, but with that, there's a cost associated with it, right? So to hire a consultant, that's a fee. To have your appraisal or your audit, that's a fee. And so the challenge becomes, if you're a small business, not that it can't be done, because there are very small, high revenue earning businesses, but you're going to have to pay. Some of these appraisals are upwards of $40,000 cash. And then you have the internal or hidden costs of the folks who are going to actually help you prepare. So who's going to write all the processes and upload them and review them and approve them? And so it's all of those operational costs as well. However, again, the ROI can be high depending on what you're responding to. So I'll give you an example. There is a certification that has hit the street. It's called CMMC. It is a certification that a lot of us in my industry have been waiting for a few years. It's been on hold because of the pandemic. It's been on hold because there weren't enough certifiers, and the certification body didn't have the resources that it needed. It was on hold when the administration changed, right? So now this has hit the street, and the Department of Defense, the DoD, is going to write into its requirements that all contractors and subcontractors have the CMMC certification, all of them, for the entire Department of Defense.
Wow.
There are thousands of contractors and subcontractors, which means if you plan on doing business with the DoD, all of them, everybody has to get this certification. To my knowledge, that's the requirement. Now, they may make some exceptions here or there, or whatever. That's their business. So in this instance, it's a pay to play. If you want to be able to have this $3 million, $15 million, X million dollar contract with Department of Defense, by comparison, it's a nominal fee, right? You got to pay something because you need the certification, but it's worth the cost, is what I'm saying. If you have to pay $70,000 to get this certification, but then you're eligible for a $15 million contract,
Makes sense.
maybe find a way to get the 70,000, and then to be an early adopter of that, because the earlier you do it, the more likely you are to win the work, right? If you wait 10 years to do it, well, most companies will have it by 10 years. If you do it within the first year or two, oh yeah, the floodgates are open for you. So the ROI just really depends on what the requirement is, what the solicitation is, what the government is looking for, during that particular time.
Okay. Now, you said you want listeners to walk away feeling empowered. How can business owners redefine their destiny even if they're facing some challenges?
So one, realizing that challenges are going to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. It's not anything necessarily that's wrong with you. There's not necessarily anything that's wrong with your vision or your business, but challenges are just going to come. Sometimes you can do all the right types of things and you're still not going to win, right? Some people call it failing. It just depends on your perspective and your use of wordage. But the challenges are going to come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shifting your mindset from understanding that these things are going to happen to how quickly you're going to dust yourself off, get back up and do something,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that is very, very, very important, right? Because the challenges, again, are going to happen. I also think that we need to move to getting with more like-minded people. We talked a little bit about that earlier. Especially for those that have access to things like social media. I don't do a lot of Instagram. I do a lot more LinkedIn because there are business professionals on LinkedIn.
Right.
I literally take time and I go through LinkedIn and I scour for people who are either potential customers, who are competitors that do what I do, because I definitely want to connect with you as well,
Mm-hmm.
government agencies, people that write articles about things that I'm interested in, because that is the community I need to surround myself with. Not to say that I can't learn from anyone else, but if you have a social media account and you're on there and you have your business on there, why are you not connecting with other people that do the same things that you do? Right? There's opportunity for us to partner. There's opportunity for us to share information. There are times where I can't do something because of time constraints, so I'm traveling or whatever, and the person is saying, I really wanted you to do it, but if you refer me to somebody, that would be great. Yeah. Why
Mm-hmm.
not? Even if we do the same thing, and I know that you're credible, you're gonna, yeah, here, take it. And I personally, I know some organizations will, I won't even charge you. So also being in the spaces that accommodates what you're going after.
Mm-hmm.
Again, very serious about my business. Like if I'm running a business, this is the mindset that I have.
Right.
I'm trying to grow my business. I'm trying to sustain my business. I'm trying to provide a quality service. So I'm also connecting with others that are having heartache. I'm finding out what the people want. Oh, where are we failing as a community? Where are we failing as entrepreneurs? How can I help my community of folks? So again, connecting with like-minded people. And if there's no community, because I get that, oftentimes in the buildings and in places where I'm one of one. Build your community. Start the group. Like you said, you started your podcast and your platform for a particular reason. You weren't seeing what you wanted to see. So if you're one of one and you feel like, oh, it's just me out here, start it. Trust me, there's people out there that's doing the same thing you're doing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't do, and I would tell you, Denise, I haven't done, this is my very first appearance of any kind. I don't go out saying, oh, I'm an auditor, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm minding my business, making my money, running my business, traveling the country, traveling, helping the people. And then I got the covers over my head. We're out there hiding. We exist.
Right.
So find your people.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Because and it's so funny that you said that, because we was talking about this offline, where we was talking about having that network, having the right people around you. And a lot of times now, when you think about it, what you said makes so much sense. And a lot of times people get discouraged because they are only using, say, Instagram or TikTok and things like that. And a lot of times on those platforms, they're mainly for fun. They're not really for business all the time. And so you're not always going to attract business-minded people because they're not looking on there for business. They're looking on there for fun.
Correct.
And so that's why you got to go to those people who are out for those sites into business platforms so you can find business-minded people.
And that's just one, and the social media is just one example, right? Because Instagram is cool. I'm not, Lord, but you go from possibly connecting or following someone that likes something that you like, to a cooking recipe, and then to a dog that's dancing, and then to something else. How does that focus your attention on doing anything for your business? You're spiraling down into the web. So I'm not saying that LinkedIn, because I hate to be an advocate for a specific tool, right? It's not more about the tool, but it's more about what it offers, what it can provide. The people that are on there, most of the time, want the same things that you do. They want to find partnership, they want to find community, they want opportunities, they want to be successful. There's very little people on there just because they want to date or they want to, that's not what that's for.
Right.
So the social media is just one. I mean, there are also other types of communities, organizations. I'm not advocating for any organization, but there are organizations. We have like-minded people that come together for a particular purpose that you might be interested in. And I think all of that helps to shape the way you think about business and the way you think about your business.
Right.
So it's like birds of a feather flock together. If you're always around people and you're the business owner and you're the only one, that's not sustainable. Right. They can't help you. You talking to your friends about, girl, this client, and they like, girl, that's messed up. Or she's doing your thing. That's not, how's that helping you?
Right.
I want somebody to help me.
Right.
Like, why I want to help someone else. If you're telling me about a problem, I want to be like, Denise, okay, listen, I don't know, but maybe I can put you in touch with this person. Or I went through something like that this last week. Here's a website that you can, whatever. Just like similar to what you did when we first got on this on the phone. Taking notes like, oh.
That's so true. And I said a lot of times people don't, and I laugh because, like, they always say, I don't, like, when you're young, they say like your cousins are your first friends, Yeah. So a lot of times you hang around, those are the people those are your first friends, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's like you get around your family and different things. But of course, as you get older, y'all all may go in different directions. There may be some that may be business minded. There may be others who may not be. But it's like, it's not that you're trying to shade or, not deal with those people. It's just that you have to focus. And a lot of times what I always tell people is not forever. Sometimes it's just you need that moment to get yourself where you're trying to be. And sometimes that separation is going to get you there. So it's not that you're shying away from people or trying to shut people out or different things. But if you're not in that path of my growth, I have to step away from you so I can stay in that path. And then we will meet back up because I love you, but we got to meet back up when I get to where I need to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. The amount of times I've had to detach, and not because I don't love or care, I just have a different interest right now. Right. And when I get focused on something, again, the very, very serious child, when I become focused on something, that is it. I don't care about no party. I don't care about your happy hour. Oh, that was 3 weeks ago, babes. And I sincerely apologize. But once I get locked into something, that is it. Right. That is all. Whatever it is, even if it's my kids, right? But as far as the business goes, it gets that same level of intentionality, right? My business is not something that's just happening. Right. I have to work for my business. This is my job. Right. So you clocked out 4 hours ago. I'm still working, and that's just what it is. I will catch you at the next one, or I'll come to something else, and so also having, again, community that understands that, and I don't have to apologize. Right. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just oh, this, that. Even my husband, he knows. He's like, oh, okay. You work. Okay. All right, cool. Good luck, because there's no move in me. Right. So same level of intentionality, same level of lock-in, same level of drive. And again, like you said, it's not that I don't love you. It's not that I'm not trying to celebrate you, but I'm also trying to do something that I've never done before. right?
Right.
So give me the space to do that.
Right.
Give me the space to grow and to try and to fail and to then recorrect. And that's what I'm interested in doing. That happy hour, baby, I can do that anytime.
Right.
Do that anytime. So yeah, and which kind of goes back
That's
to
why I say everybody is not meant for entrepreneurship, because some people have to just have a 9 to 5. Some people don't have that motivation to be able to work all hours. But my thing, what I get sometimes concerned with some people are like when you talk to people who do work a job, and we say 9 to 5, but people work all different shifts.
correct.
However, when you have these people I talk to sometime on the phone, they're like, oh, I had to do overtime. I have to work extra hours. We have mandatory this. And you're putting in this extra time for this job. But then when it comes to a business, you won't give that business that extra time. And I'm just like, do you really want to grow? I mean, or is it a business or is it a hobby at this point? So it's like, is this something that you really want? Is this something that you're really
And I would say no.
about? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, you have to have
And I
that.
would say no. Denise, and I would say no. And I use arguments with people all the time, and I'm gonna tell them no. Because we find our way to get Beyonce tickets. We will borrow and steal for this, that, and a third. Baby, you got on the designer. You didn't flew out to XYZ and came back with little to no money down. So the things I've seen people accomplish with a mustard seed of faith, and then in the same breath tell me you don't have time. It's just, yes, it is. That same level of intentionality and determination and effort and sweat and tears. You didn't call everybody, no shame in your game, to get whatever it is that you wanted. But when it comes to business and your business specifically, you can't find the time. You too tired. Oh, it's too hard. Nobody's helping me. I don't have this. Just every excuse in the world. That tells me you don't want it. You don't want it. You may be like you like the idea of the outcome, right? And I think that's the thing too. And you notice as a business owner, people look at the outcome and say, "Oh, I want to do this and I want to do that." And girl, you doing it and all this. You don't see all the things that happen. People, case in point, I'm here on this screen. Nobody saw everything that I had to do up to get to this point. Me running around and working and this and texting you and emailing you and sweating and oh my God, I'm gonna be late and double. That they just see this,
right?
So no, people don't. I think people don't really want to do the things. They want the result,
right? And those things can be time consuming and can take a lot of. And that's why I say the business is so deep and passionate for most people who really want it, because the time now that you're taking away from the things is what you're trying to gain later on. So I'm putting in all this right now so I can have time freedom. I'm putting in all this right now so I can have financial freedom. I'm putting in all this. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, these are the things that you're doing now where it's got to go through the ropes and everything. But later on, when I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I'm at that age where some people still might have to still be working and trying to figure it out and still talking about, the things that they have to do, where now we didn't at another point in our life where now you can say, oh, I can go on this vacation. I can go do this. So it's like, you want to be at that point. And so that's why you're going to have to take that hard work now so you can get to that point later. Because I'm like, I don't want to be over 65 sitting here talking about, oh, I got to go get a job. I'm trying to make it. Do what I gotta do.
No, I don't.
So when we get to that point, I'm not sitting here stressing about needing money.
Correct. And I think people also miss the part about, they again want to be rich, want to be wealthy, want to be financially set. Especially with the time that we're living in now, most people won't have that opportunity working a 9 to 5. That model is not conducive for the world that we're living in today, right? So you're saying you want to have all of this money at your disposal, and you want to be a millionaire. So do the math. How do you do that working a salary job? How? I haven't seen it. Like, no shade, I haven't seen it. Now, some boomers have set themselves up for success. Their time was different. You could retire after 17 years of service and then go get another job. So, and then they're investing into their pensions and having different plans and all of that. So things are different for them. In today's world, I'm not sure that how achievable that is. Right? You want to be a millionaire, but how? Right?
Right.
I don't know. So interesting conversations. I kind of get catch a little heat for again, because I see things differently. Catch a lot of heat for those things, but challenge everything. Right?
It's just the real. It's the real. People don't like the real. They want to hear the fake, and people come attached to the non-believe, the non-real things. They don't want to hear the honest truth. They don't want to hear that person that's really going to tell you to your raw. A lot of times they rather hear the smooth sailing, like, no, entrepreneurship is not easy. No, you're going to take up your time. No, you're going to have those real things. And yes, it's going to be hard, but you're doing it for your job and you're stuck at the salary. Yeah, you might get a 10-cent raise or a 25-cent raise, but is that what you living your whole life for? Yeah, you might get that one big bonus every year, because I know I get that a lot with people when they're coming to get taxes done. And then they try to hurry up and hide. They don't want to pay taxes, when they get that bonus, so they want to go exempt. And then it's like, okay, now do you realize then you owe all that money at the end of the year? Like, it's like we have to hear these real things, because people listen to so many others and they don't want to hear the real outcomes. They just want to hear this, you can just do it like this, or this is just going to work. And then
there's so much of that out there. It's so much of that. And I call them like get rich quick schemes. Like, just it's differently, where you're like trying to sell 7 quick steps to do this, or all you got to do is buy mine, and then you just no, it won't work. I was about to sing. It won't work. There's a song. Do it. It won't work. It does not work. It does not work. Even we mentioned Tabitha Brown. Even my good sis Tabitha Brown, it looks amazing. I'm sure her origin story, bumps, bruises, scrapes, tears, all of that. Like, it's not. And then she started long ago. Long ago. So I think, again, people want the outcome. They want the thing at the end. They want the star. They want the diamond. They don't want the mud and the dirt and the rain and the grittiness and the pressure and all of that. Well, you're not getting a diamond. You can have a zirconium, something. You can have that. You can't have no diamond, though. So yeah. But I think it's worth the conversation. I think it's worth the conversation in any circle, right? It again, challenge, right? If someone's saying that this is what they want, holding them accountable. Hey, you did say you wanted to buy that truck, that food truck. Why are you going to spend $700 on that? That could be money you buy your food truck with, Or why are you going to eat out every day? You could take that same $12, $15 and put it in an account that you can't touch. And then after X amount of time, go back, and then that's your money. That's your seed money. That's your startup money. So keep in mind, if we're talking about just Black people in general, $1.3 trillion in spending. Trillion. So it's not that we can't necessarily touch the money, because we do. As soon as we touch it, it's gone. But we're not spending it on our business. We say that that's what ultimately we want.
Right. And that's facts. What is one question you wish people would ask you more often?
One question sticks out to me, and there's only one person that asks me this every time I speak with her. She is someone I've over the years come to revere. She's a multimillionaire. She
Mm,
has several businesses, a total boss, total.
mm,
And every time I speak to her, she says, "How can
mm,
I support you? How
mm,
can she support me?" She's
mm,
the only person that's ever asked me that. And she just asked me that the other day. I
mm,
think oftentimes we are conditioned and we live in a capitalistic society. So the emphasis is always how you can buy something from me, how I can
mm,
sell something to you. It becomes very transactional in that way. And then some people feel like, well, if they're not gonna buy nothing, then it's no point, right? Then just throw the whole relationship in the trash. But having someone um that has accomplished so much as far as business and status and just I mean amazing. I mean real estate, like if you name it, she got her
mm,
hand in it.
mm,
Ask me, how can I support you? Was invaluable for me. And she asked me one time before and she asked me the other day, and I still don't know. I haven't come up with an answer as to how she can support me. I think asking folks how you can
mm,
support them, and not necessarily me, because I'm not trying to be selfish and saying people don't ask me what I need, but changing the conversation to say, Denise, how can I support you? Thank you for allowing me to be on your show.
mm,
What is it that I can support you with? What kind of problems are you having? What kind of challenges are you
mm,
having? In an attempt to really help you, not charge you,
mm,
not upsell, right? Just to really help you. So I think
mm.
that is a question that I would like to hear more often, but then I would also like to ask other people.
I like that. I really love that because a lot of times we look for support, and sometimes it's like it's not always about money. Sometimes you may just be like, "Hey, can you just share this post for me, or
Yeah,
can you pass this flyer out for me, or can you just tell people, give some word of mouth out for me, or it's little things that can still help, where it's not always a financial thing when it comes to business." And that's why I say, where people have to really, if you truly love a person, and you may not be a business minded person, the person may just be like they're just, that's just not for them. They like, I rather clock in and out. I want somebody to, I'm not a person who can be accountable if I have to maintain a schedule to do work every single day on my own without having somebody say, this the time you got to do this. Some people are like that, where realistically there are some people who really have to have somebody telling them what time to clock in, what time to clock out, because they're not going to get no work done if they don't have that accountability with that. They
right,
have to have certain quotas there on what they have to meet, because if they don't have that and they don't get it done and they know they can lose their job, then they're going to have a problem. So it's like some people need that type of background. So it's no, not trying to say it's wrong or you're a
yes,
bad person or
correct,
anything. It's just
correct.
it's just how you're fractured.
Mm,
However, people who are in business and people who, whether it's your friend or your family or whoever, I just think that so many more people can grow farther if the people who are not those people can just be supportive to those people who
yes,
are. And it can be just as little as, I'll pick your child up for you today.
yes,
It don't have to always be about the business. Sometimes it can be, I'll make dinner for you today so you don't have to come home and worry about it, or I'll pick something up and drop it off to your kids. You see what I'm
yes,
saying? Just little stuff. Like, people don't
yes,
understand, like, those little things can really help a person that's doing so many other things trying to grow.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It is any little thing. If you send me a coupon, I'm say, oh my God, thank you so much.
Right. Exactly.
I
Um,
agree 100%.
yes.
Yes.
And so is there anything that you want to like let people know how they can get to you on any kind of platform, anything that you have that you're selling that you want to let people know, or any type of event, anything that you have that you can share with us? Go ahead and take the
Sure. So I am on LinkedIn, so you can find me at Tiffany Hunt. There are quite a few Tiffany Hunts on there. So if you're on LinkedIn, you probably got to search and see this beautiful face, and then you can connect with me or send me a message there. I'm also on Instagram. My handle is at Business Acumen. I mean, Miss Business Acumen. So MS Business Acumen on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok or any other platform. Again, very low key. But there are two things that I am actually working on right now. One I've been working on for a while. And so it is a financial series that I started. I have and am actively looking for experts in the financial field to come and speak virtually to an audience for free. So it's you dedicating 1 hour of your time to speak about um, your subject matter expertise. So far, we've had someone come and talk about real estate. We've had someone come and talk about life. Life insurance and how to utilize life insurance while you're living. And so I'm actively looking for folks to come and be on my platform. So it's every month. Speaking of failures, we started off strong, and then it's very hard, Denise, to find people that's willing to volunteer 1 hour of their time for free to talk about something they love. So my goal is to have the entire experience be free, free for so no charge for me as the host, also no charge for those in the community that are attending. So those are the two things. And I do post about that on Instagram.
Okay.
I need to be a little bit better about that. But once I find the people, then I can post some more. Second thing is I'm actually building an app for entrepreneurs. So it's to help us mind, body, spirit, and also guidance for key business practices. So it's an app that I'm building. It is in its infancy right now. I'm working, writing all my requirements for those who build apps, trying to work through those types of things. And so I plan to, of course, have a launch. It'll be on my Instagram page. So if you start to follow me now, I can keep everyone updated with all the behind the scenes crazy that happens with trying to do something you've never done. So those are the two projects that I'm working on. So if you are a financial expert, please hit me up. I would love to work with you. I would love to have you host. I'm sorry, be a part of the financial series, and then just stay tuned for more information on my app.
Now, when will that be?
The financial series or financial series is actually technically every month, but we haven't had a speaker in the last 3 months. So once we get a speaker, we can take off. And so this is what, hold on, let me just pause. This is what real business looks like. It's not always figured out, right? You got to plan sometimes, and sometimes it's working, sometimes not. So this is real business interaction. But so as soon as I get the next lineup of speakers, and I'll start to publish the schedule of, what the lineup will be and what they'll talk about. So I just need to lock down the speaker. Are you interested in being a speaker?
I am. That's why I was asking.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And then also, like I said, I have been connecting with different people out here. I've been connecting with some state representatives and different things. So when we talking about other speakers, I can connect you with some more speakers as well. So once we talk, after we finish, I connect with some other people as well that can get the speakers out there.
That would be amazing. I thank you in advance for even just the thought. And then I will ask you the question when we talk.
Right.
Support you.
Right.
So
awesome. Yes. So y'all heard it, and I'm going to make sure at the end of the video you will see all her contact information. So all you have to do is click it, and you can go be able to connect with Miss Tiffany Hunt So it's Tiffany Hunt again. I want to thank you so much for all your value-packed conversation with viaSolutions LLC. I want to thank you for sharing your journey, your lessons, and your expertise with us today. And to the audience, y'all already know my heart. No matter what you want to do in life, know that it is possible and you can do it.